Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, November 10th, 2020. You know, Christians and believers are an interesting group. I heard a lot of comments this week of Christians complaining about other Christians. Comments like, I don't see how another Christian could vote for the guy I didn't vote for. In other words, it seems like some believers expect all other believers to think just like they do and to never, ever have a differing opinion. The Apostle Paul spent an inordinate amount of his writings explaining how fellow believers are to interact with one another. Not once does he mention that all Christians should agree with one another about everything. He does appeal for unity, but that has more to do with getting along with one another than it does for identification of opinion. In fact, in Romans 14, verses 1 to 13, and I'm reading from the New Living Translation, second edition, Paul says, accept other believers who are weak in faith and don't argue with them about what they think is right or wrong. For instance, one person believes it's all right to eat anything, but another believer with a sensitive conscience will eat only vegetables. Those who feel free to eat anything must not look down on those who don't. And those who don't eat certain foods must not condemn those who do, for God has accepted them. Who are you to condemn someone else's servants? Their own master will judge whether they stand or fall. And with the Lord's help, they will stand and receive his approval. In the same way, some think one day is more holy than another day, while others think every day is alike. You should each be fully convinced that whichever day you choose is acceptable. Those who worship the Lord on a special day do it to honor him. Those who eat any kind of food do so to honor the Lord, since they give thanks to God before eating. And those who refuse to eat certain foods also want to please the Lord and give thanks to God. For we don't live for ourselves or die for ourselves. If we live, it's to honor the Lord. And if we die, it's to honor the Lord. So whether we live or die, we belong to the Lord. Christ died and rose again for this very purpose, to be Lord both of the living and of the dead. So why do you condemn another believer? Why do you look down on another believer? Remember, we will all stand before the judgment seat of God. For the scriptures say, as surely as I live, says the Lord, every knee will bend to me, and every tongue will declare allegiance to God. Yes, each of us will give a personal account to God. So let's stop condemning each other. Decide instead to live in such a way that you will not cause another believer to stumble and fall. Wow. Paul uses the examples of food choice and worship day choice as his examples of the differing opinions that Christians may have about certain issues. Although we may not place much importance on those issues, Paul recognizes that they are supremely important to others. The bottom line in Paul's thinking is that we are to honor the Lord. Here's a radical thought. Won't you let others hold their beliefs even if you disagree with them, and allow God to give them growth? Our interaction with other believers is not to be demanding that they conform to our mindset, but instead, we are to be a helping hand and a stepping stone to their growth. We are to encourage, strengthen, and edify other believers. We are not to condemn them. Allow God to do the changing of minds and changing of opinions. He is a lot better at it. We should live in such a way that others see us as an encourager, not a detriment and discourager. Be a blessing because God has blessed you. At the end, God is in charge. And we can rejoice that God is in charge. And we can kneel at his authority and give him the glory. Trust God. Let others have their own opinions. And you seek to serve God as best you can. God bless you.